Brachio family to say that he is made be glad and rejoice in it. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. But before we do that, my new intro, it's not new, but it's fairly new, is reference of Psalm 118, verse 24, because before I used to pray into my videos, but I was led to stop doing that. I don't know why, but he just stopped leading me to do that. And so now, going on, with all that being said, it's like I didn't even know that was a Bible verse. Like, I didn't know my intro was a Bible verse until someone had sent it to me, and it's Psalm 118, verse 24. It's like, praise Yahweh this day that he has made, rejoice and be glad in it. But I say be glad and rejoice in it, So, continuing on, let's get into the meat of the message. So, the other day, I seen a headline that was like, it was like December 4th, 5th, that internet had power outages once again, right? And then I seen something that something hit an airplane just light speed, and it fell 20 feet and 100 or it fell 100 feet and 20 people were injured. All right, and I spoke to a brother, and tomorrow when I release this will be the 2-year anniversary of Leave the World Behind. So I have to tell you, I have updated information about the next.
The speed limit is 20 miles per hour.
It wouldn't be a true video if you didn't hear that, but I have true information about the next 9/11. What's about to happen? The next 9/11 in part is going to be the power outages. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the symbolism. Notice that, and I'm going to put this all on the screen somewhere, but notice on December 8, 2023 was the Leave the World Behind 2-year anniversary. That same week, December 6, 2023, former FBI Director Christopher Wray goes before Lindsey Graham, a senator from South Carolina, on a committee and talking about, the dangers, I guess, I'm going to assume it was the dangers, facing the United States. And he says, do you see the same warning signs that we missed before 9/11? And former FBI Director Christopher Wray says, I see them everywhere. I see blinking red lights everywhere I turn. Or in other words, it's a metaphor for I see all the more signs, and I see a crazy, basically all the signs I see, if not more than 9/11. I see blinking red lights everywhere I turn. Okay, now that was all that, and then he went on to say, and again, this is all going to be like in a little thing somewhere on the screen, that the Chinese have been in our systems for 5 years, and that Operation Volt Typhoon was been in our systems for 5 years. The Chinese, and they've been in our water, energy, telecommunications for 5 years, and that on the FBI's best day, if they stopped everything else they were doing to the cyber threat that America is against, they're outnumbered 50-1 basically on their best day. So for perspective, because we're in football season, that's like 50. The football team is 53 people, so that's like 53 people. You trying to run through 53 people at one time. So if anybody's ever played football, that's a little thing. Anyways, that's just a metaphor, but back to the main point of the video. And so the funny thing is that on October 20th, and I know this is going to happen, because on October 20th, your Snapchats, your banking, your streaming entertainment services, I knew people at warehouses, okay? Well, I didn't know of people, but I knew of people just on TikTok talking. They couldn't even do their work. Like, the whole grid was just like, parts of the grid on the East Coast especially did not just exist, okay? And so I'm telling you that, just like that lady said in the video that I watched, that they're testing the kill switch. And so here's the thing, right? Notice that took place in Virginia, okay? Now, what's so symbolic about Virginia? Now, Virginia is the first place, right? Was the first ship to arrive here from the transatlantic slave trade, right? Came to Virginia. The major power outage on the 20th of October took place in Virginia. Now, check this out. The white lion is the metaphor for the ship that was used in the movie. Okay, it was the metaphor that was used in the movie. Okay, now that it was basically used as a piece of symbolism to show that the ship representing problems that are coming ashore. Everyone's seeing the problems, but still not choosing to do anything about it until the ship eventually came to shore, and by then it was basically too late. Okay, and so the white lion again, and Leave the World Behind, being the ship that Virginia, the white line come from Virginia, power outage on the East Coast starting from Virginia. All right, so I say all that to say this, is that 1619 and 2019 was 400 years, okay? The plagues of Egypt didn't come on Egypt until it was time for the deliverance of Yasharel. That's why the Bible says in 2 Ezra chapter 13, verse 29 through 31, right? That when the Most High God begins to deliver his children on earth, at that time everyone will be close to panic. Why? Because Revelation 12:12, the devil knows his time is short. So because he knows that, verse 31, they'll begin to make war against one another, city against city, region against region. That's civil war, nation versus nation. That's not America versus China, because again, according to the book of Revelation in the Bible, right, and the Bible, nations aren't America and China. Nations are, it's ethnos in the Greek, ethnos being ethnicity, okay? So, and if you want to go deeper, it's tribes, tongues, and nations. So nations are people. So it's a race war that I'm not advocating for, but what I am advocating for is the fulfillment of Bible prophecy, and you need to choose what side of it you will be on. Joshua 24:15, choose whom this day you will serve. And kingdom specifically, 2nd Esdras 13:29 through 31, the last part is kingdom versus kingdom. Now that's world war. But I say all that to say this. I know I use a lot of these phrases a lot over, but sometimes I can get caught up, trying to think and drive. But I have to make a lot of these videos on the road because I'm so busy. I'm so busy a lot of times. You know what I mean? So pretty much, what do you do about this? I've exposed this to you. I've gave you the debrief version. The FBI director is making all these. It's everywhere. Like all these little signs and symptoms, all the systems. See, oh yes, thank you, God. Praise y'all for this. Okay. Now, think about it like this, is they're putting the border wall up. Now, the border wall isn't to keep the so-called Mexicans, Hispanics, whatever you want to call them, just as long as you don't call them Israelites, okay? Just as long as you don't get in that 12-tribe chart doctrine that says every single person that looks like one skin color, even for so-called black people, every single person that's, trying to, do that, but that's just as long as you don't say that, but whatever. So the border wall isn't actually to keep them out, it's to keep the Americans in for when the revolution begins, okay? Think about it. World War I happened, massive blood sacrifice. Then what happened? Okay, the formation of the League of Nations. Now, World War II, massive blood sacrifice, right? Then what happened? The formation of the League of Nations formed the United Nations. World War III, right? Massive blood sacrifice for the unsaved, okay? Or of the unsaved. What's going to happen? United Nations brings in or becomes the one world order, or the foundation of the one world order, okay? Now check this out. Now they want to keep people. They want to keep people from going out or from coming in. But with the plane crashes, they're trying to destroy your confidence and your ability to fly and to go anywhere, because they want to make sure that no one goes out and they want to make sure no one comes in, and they don't want anyone going out. That's why the planes have been falling from the skies, the train derailments. They're trying to destroy your faith, or not your faith, because that's the wrong word. Forgive me for that. But, forgive me, y'all, for that. But not destroy your faith, but they're trying to destroy your confidence in the transportation system, okay? Because they don't want you to come. They don't want anyone to come in, and they don't want anyone going out either, right? They want to hold everyone here like it's the Hunger Games, because they know it's about to happen. Because Lucifer, in order to need this to happen, they have to have blood, okay? I see another statistic also that was kind of crazy, that in the entirety of human history, and this could be wrong, but there have been, 1 billion people killed in war by men. Now, I see another statistic that like 2 billion babies or something 2 billion babies in the entirety since 1970, since abortion has been allowed, have been like unalived. And again, I don't know if that number is accurate, but if it is, I know it's somewhere around there. But if it is accurate, that means we've lost a whole generation. That means there's 8 billion people. The world population would have been at 10 billion. So 20%, or 1 every 5 people that have been possibly born, have been killed. I'm telling you, and y'all don't think judgment is coming. This is why all this stuff is coming. But let me tell you what you can actually do about this. I had explained the problem. Now let me give you a solution. The solution, you need to know how to pray. You need to, Romans 10:9 through 13, you need to admit, that you're a sinner and need a salvation. And you need to pray to Yahuwah, that's the true name of God for those of you who don't know, and accept Yahusha, who most people understand as Jesus Christ, into your heart, and ask him to ask the Most High to forgive your sins, that you accept the atonement of his son Yahusha. Because I'm telling you right now that Luke 21:36, that it don't matter how many guns and what patriot movement you think you're a part of, this nation is going down. And if you seek to align yourself to this nation, if you think this nation is the Holy Land, then you are aligning yourself to be in judge, or you are aligning yourself to a nation that is going to be utterly destroyed by fire, like Sodom. Seriously. And going to fall like Gomorrah. Okay, so, and again, well, how do I get deep into the deeper things? Well, first, study your word, man. I'm telling you, like, people ask me all the time, like, on here, I'm not casting demons out with deliverance, not doing 5-hour deliverance sessions. I'm not doing anything. The word is all I'm giving on here. You understand what I'm saying? The word is what delivers you. You got to start out with the word, just studying it, understanding it, go into the Hebrew of it, really, to be honest with you. But with the actual EMP and power out, this is a little tip and trick for those of you who stayed to the end. I was trying to get this out sooner, but I can't explain what I'm about to explain without first explaining the threat, because you can't really understand the reason for the solution, or the reason for a counter act, if you don't understand the importance of the threat. So this brother, and you know who I'm talking. If you watch this, you know who you are. But thank you, brother, for giving me this information, because I was thinking about this myself. Now, here is how you know when the EMP has actually happened. Now, they're going to say it's Russia, they're going to say it's whatever, but it's probably going to be them shutting down the grid. Now, Leave the World Behind was a great representation. I don't know if they're actually going to kill the cars. I don't know. But what I do know is, here's your sign. Now, after 9/11, the way your device runs off of, right, the cellular networks and the actual power and the lights are two different systems. So if the electricity goes out, don't panic at first. You know, someone might have just hit a line or something. But if the power goes out and your phone's on SOS mode and you are without cellular, and you can't call, can't text, can't do nothing, and your phone just looks like it's fried, okay, and the power is out at the same time, get out of there as fast as you can. You know, my brother told me give it 30 minutes to an hour, but what I'll say is, if both go out at the same time, around the same time, it's not a coincidence, okay? So that's how you know if both systems are out. Now, I don't think they're going to do this because they need some of the infrastructure to survive, to be able to build on for the New World Order, because, again, things are going to begin to happen fast. They're not going to have a bunch of time to build new infrastructure. So I don't think that the cars will go out, because I think that they're just going to turn it off. I think they're going to say it's this big thing, EMP, but I think that it's going to be a self-sabotage EMP, as in they're going to just hit a button or hit a few buttons or hack their own system, and the grid, the cellular towers, and everything is going to shut off. And again, it's two different grids that the cellular and the other thing operates off. So once you see those two, it's not time to bring Joe and them along and everybody else. You got to go. You got to hit the door and go. Jasher 6:16 through 25. Noah, when the people are going to realize a flood's coming. But Noah, he couldn't bring them on the ark. It was too late, right? And they even said, if you don't bring us on the ark, we're gonna die, and trying to gaslight them. So be prepared for people to try to gaslight you when this time comes. See, during the collapse, the greatest issue many of us will face is relentless onslaught of family and friends who want to try to come along, who even want to try to understand. But it's going to be hard, but it's going to be too late. Don't leave anyone behind if the Father tells you to stay in place initially in your house, which is what I believe that you should do unless the Father tells you otherwise. But don't be surprised, but don't waste time on people that didn't prepare. It's on them, family. I love you. Shalom.